Welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again today. I just want to talk about something serious today. It can be depressing living in the Philippines as a foreigner. So I can imagine what it must be like for some locals here. You know, I read the paper, and in the Inquirer, there's a great article, and I believe her name is Maria Series Doyo. And she's talking about the resilience of Filipino people. But she starts out the argument, she says this is what got me. This is what got me to thinking. She says, we're now in the season of heavy rains, typhoons, massive flooding, landslides, and storm surges. And I thought to myself, wow, she's right. Every year, it's like a 911 type of emergency over here in the Philippines. There hasn't been a year here that I haven't experienced that. I mean, either directly or indirectly. And she says, and she talks about the inconveniences and the problems that it causes. The evacuations, displacements, homelessness, death, disease, hunger, loss of income, ruined crops, you name it. Businesses coming to a grinding halt, no classes. And it goes on, man. And I put the link in the description because I want you to read this. I want you to get a true sense of what it will be like living here as a foreigner. It's almost like a catch-22. You know, you're living your best life with meanwhile, somewhere close by, somewhere out there, people are struggling on a level that you can't even imagine. And a lot of times in my videos, I just ask guys, man, look, don't come over here complaining. You know so little about the country. You know so little about the people. All that they go through. And this is like the whole country. And you want to come over here and complain about the service you receive at the restaurant. It's unthinking. But it can be depressing when you see this over and over and over. And I guess let me keep the focus on me. I guess I just keep, putting it down in my subconscious mind, stuffing it deep down inside of me. And, you feel guilty, man. That's another part of expat guilt. Not the expat guilt I talked about, but the expat guilt, man. You're over here, you're living good, you're eating good, everything works at your house. You can live outside of that disaster area, basically, is what I'm talking about. You got a buffer. And it's usually your income is that buffer in between you and the struggle. And I just wanted to talk about that today because this is a great article, man. It talks about the resilience of the people, but see, I'm not built like Filipinos. They're tough as nails. Okay, I grew up, even though I grew up poor in America, really, compared to what goes on over here, man, it's like luxury. I'm a lot softer than they are. I'm not as resilient. So what I try to do is I try to help as much as I can, even before the disasters, because I know they're coming. There's a season of it, the lady said. She hit it on the nail. And she goes on to laud the bravery, of the journalists and, of course, the police and firemen and the first liners and even people out there with phones, reporting and posting and stuff on social media. So we'll know, but it doesn't change anything. And then they'll clean it up and things will go back to normal. And then just when you getting ready to relax and say, oh man, I really love this place, here comes another typhoon or flooding. And in one instance in the article, she says she can't stand by and watch farmers crying because the crops that they were just getting ready to harvest wiped out. I mean, how many times can you watch this over and over and over unless you've got the resilience of Filipino people? I mean, it's suffering all over the world, but I'm living here. And I want to ask you that. See, that's another reason why. Remember I did the video a couple of days ago, 60% of Americans go back home within 3 years over here. And that's one of the reasons, man. They really can't handle the suffering that they see over here. It does something to you. I hope that I'm not immune to it. I hope that I'm not numb to it. I don't think I am. That's why I'm making this video today. That article she made, it really touched me. So just keep that in mind when you come over here on vacation, when you go to the grocery store, when you're living your best life over here and you see somebody on the street begging, you don't know the backstory of that. Okay, remember we bring the matrix with us, so when we see somebody begging, oh, they're lazy. Oh, it's a scam. Now, they could have lost everything in this last season of typhoons, heavy rains, mudslides, storm surges. Because that's what happens. People lose it all, start over again and lose it again. It baffles me, man. It baffles me. And you would think, well, why don't they move somewhere else? Well, a lot of people, they can't afford to move anywhere else. That's all they know. And they just got to wait until the next season comes, guys. So thank y'all so much for stopping by. You know, I want to talk about the real Philippines from now on. You know, we come over here. Remember yesterday on my video, I talked about the shallow view that we give of this place. All we worried about is some woman. I could even talk to you about that. You know, imagine coming over here dating a woman who's lost everything. She's got nothing to lose, guys. Okay? I don't know if you really want to deal with somebody in those circumstances, you know, because we don't know at what stage they are. Did they just suffer it? Are they going through it? Or they just gotten over it? And we come over here and jump in relationships and stuff with them, right? We don't know. And we get ourselves in trouble. That's why I say when you come over here, slow down a little bit, man. Ask some questions. Especially when you're up there in Luzon. Hey, did you get affected by the flooding and stuff up there? Shout out to Brother K. He's posting videos showing the real deal. He's living through it up there. But how much more can you stand? You know, we live over here in our comfort and luxury, really. And then we nitpick and we whine and we complain about the smallest stuff, guys. Sometimes, man, we need to stop just for 1 second and think about that. Think about the suffering that goes on over here. Instead of turning a blind eye and pretending that it's not happening. I help people every week, man, with their spin wheel, but I help somebody every day over here because I know it's coming. To try to lessen the blow a little bit. You know, yesterday I was going to the store, and I went past, right behind me, I went past a house, and the tricycle driver and his wife and the wife's mother, you know, they were getting the tricycle ready and everything like that. So by the time I got to the end of the street, they said, hey, you need a ride? I said, yeah. You know, and I just know, you know, tricycle drivers, pedicab drivers, they don't have to go through a typhoon or a flood to struggle. So when he took me basically right around the corner to Mawani, because I ate breakfast there yesterday, I put out 1,000 peso bill because remember, when I spin the wheel and, we choose the winner and they don't come forward, I give the money away anyway. I don't keep the money, I give it away. So I gave him 1,000 pesos. I said to the mother, you get 400, your daughter gets 300, the husband gets 300. And you could just see the look on their face. It made all the difference in the world. To me, it's only 1,000 pesos. It's only $16 and something or whatever. To them, it was the assurance that they were going to have a good meal. That he didn't have to stay out there, man, because they stay out there from about 8 o'clock until it gets past dark. Maybe he can get home in a decent hour and eat with the family and play with the kids or whatever it is. So if you're in America, if you're in the Philippines, wherever you are, find your heart to help somebody. Not a day goes by I don't help somebody, man. I mean it. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. We help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay out of trouble. I'll see you next time. Don't do anything stupid. When you come over here, man, just stop and think about this video I'm making now. Remember, there's a season of struggle over here. Now, all the stuff that I was talking about, then you put on top of that the poverty on a day-to-day basis. So when you about ready to complain about the service you're receiving at the restaurant, or the food is warm, or there's no aircon on the bus, or whatever it is that we complain about over here, and stop to think that somebody over here has it a lot worse than you. And close by, somebody's struggling, man. They need your help.